Feel better now. Stop blocking your joy and peace. Don't we all just want to feel better at the end of the day? That's what all our goals are about: the house, the car, the business, the money. We want to feel better. And I've been thinking about this concept a lot lately. I'm doing a lot of work in this arena in my own life and in the container with my clients. Most people live with the dial turned down, all the way down on joy, peace, and gratitude, afraid it won't last or something bad will happen. My intention for you today with this talk is for you to leave knowing how to expand your capacity to hold the good, the positive emotions that you want to feel, like joy, peace, gratitude, so that you can feel better now in this moment, not someday and not later. Hi, everybody. It's Amy Colombo, nurse and emotional mastery coach, and I help purpose inspired, heart centered women just like you start having your own back and stop holding yourselves back through the art and science of emotional mastery. And what we're talking about today is part of that. Emotional mastery is not feeling your feelings. Emotional mastery is feeling your feelings. And a lot of what we're struggling with in the here and now, what's very, very apparent to us, is not being able to feel our uncomfortable emotions. However, if you're struggling, if you're blocking, if you're ignoring or pretending or suppressing uncomfortable emotions, truth be told, the hard truth, you are also blocking, suppressing, numbing, and pretending away positive emotions for all the same reasons. And we're going to get into this today. So, why the hell are we blocking good emotions, the things that we actually want to feel? And something that I've noticed now that I'm doing this for 4 years, I've coached hundreds of women in emotional mastery, is that everything in coaching and healing is almost like paradoxical. It's like everything that we've been doing our whole lives to feel and express our emotions is we need to do the opposite. And that's why we're blocked from our positive emotions. You wouldn't think we were, but we are. And why are we? Well, let's go back to the past, okay? First step to change is always awareness. And I love going to the past for awareness because everything that's happening right now in the present comes from your past. So we are blocked from joy as a survival strategy. And I want you to think back to your childhood home, okay, and what it was like, and how were positive emotions welcomed, not welcomed? Were they a problem? Were they thought to be a bad thing, like don't get too big for your britches, or don't get a big head, or don't get too excited, right? Those kinds of comments, literally straight out of my client's mouth this past week, those were the things that were said in childhood. I know for me, I grew up in an abusive home with a very sadistic stepfather, and we couldn't feel anything. We were not allowed to feel good or bad emotions. He had a problem with it all. So we were literally like little robots in the house, like just afraid to be too happy because we'd get some kind of a negative comment, or afraid to be angry because we were never allowed to be angry. Only he was, right? So just think of those things. Science has even shown through studies with PTSD in veterans that they are blocked, emotionally blocked from positive emotions, because positive emotions are deemed as unsafe. So just think about your past and what you learned about positive emotions. Okay. So if you have a trauma history, you may be blocked from feeling positive emotions. A story has been lodged in your nervous system that joy is unsafe, it's unwelcome. If you are emotionally numbing, okay, in any kind of a way. So if you're, I just think of people that are really stuck in addictions, they are emotionally numbing, but a lot of us are emotionally numbing in these kind of minor, harmless ways, right? But we're emotionally numbing, whether we're scrolling or just distracting or whatever it is we're doing. If you're emotionally numbing in any kind of a way from uncomfortable emotions, you very well may be emotionally numbing in positive emotions as well. And there's an actual term for the stories that we carry in our nervous systems, these fearful stories of positive emotions. It's called foreboding joy, okay? and killing joy, the killjoy. And basically, these are the people that are just like, I can't get too happy because something bad's going to happen. Or I can't get too high because inevitably the crash will come. Or I can't get too happy because it's just going to get taken away from me. Again, an exact statement from my client this past week. And think of yourself, think of people that you know. Do you know anybody like this? The first person that comes to mind is my ex. I co-parent my son with him, and he literally bought a home, a lifelong dream of his. And I've known this, and we are very good friends. He literally bought a home and told no one at all, not his mother, not his son, not me, not his best friend, not his brother. He didn't tell anybody about it. He went through the entire process all by himself until he actually bought the home and moved in, and then he shared it with us. And the reason being is he lives in a very hypervigilant, kind of an anxious state, and he's always looking out for like the rug that's just going to get swept out from underneath his feet. It's just kind of like how he lives. And the same thing goes for good things. So when he was going through this process, he was just totally focused on anything and everything that could go wrong, and was so afraid of all the what ifs and all the possibilities of worst case scenarios that he just kept this entire process to himself, right? So just think, are you like afraid to share good news and to declare positive things because, right, of those superstitious type of things of it's just going to get taken away? We might kind of laugh at that, but these are stories that are in our nervous system, and they are blocking us from joy, peace, gratitude, all the good feelings that we want to feel. I want to move into this concept of capacity and capability. Whenever we are working through emotions and we are learning to feel them, there's capability and then there's capacity. And most of us have the capability. We know we do. We've felt these emotions before. If you felt happy, you felt gratitude, you felt joy, you know how to feel these feelings, right? That means that you are fully capable. Even the uncomfortable emotions, you know that you're capable of feeling those emotions as well. So we could be very capable of something. However, how it is actually showing up and expressing, and if you feel blocked or like you're not actually in these higher level of emotional states very often, what is your capacity to hold? And capacity is the ability to handle the stress of the situation. Let me say that again. Capacity is the ability to handle the stress of holding that exact thing that you say that you want. So if you cannot hold joy because of your past trauma and you're blocked from it and your system has deemed it unsafe, then what's going to happen is the joy is going to come in, but without you even knowing, your brain is in this really slippery pattern of just blocking it, deflecting it, and a new story will come in. Don't you dare feel that. Don't you dare let yourself feel that. That is unsafe. Let's just move on. Let's feel something else. Let's ignore it. Let's pretend it doesn't exist. We're too busy. Who said that? You're having a moment of joy. You're watching your child go to school for the first day, and you're having a moment, and it comes in, and it just comes in, right? Emotions cannot be controlled. The stories attached to the emotion are within our control. Okay. Let me say that again. Emotions cannot be controlled. The stories attached to them can be, and they have a synergistic relationship. But all day long, emotions are coming in and out, in and out. And that's all they want to do. They're just energy in motion. They're neither good nor bad. They're just energy in motion. And they want to come in and they want to go. And something else is going to happen. And science has shown that generally the biology of an emotion is about 90 seconds of a wave in our body. How much capacity do you have to tolerate that wave? So when you're looking at your son go to school, like I was the other day, and you're having a moment and tears well up and you feel vulnerable, do you sink in? Do you drop in? Do you welcome it? Do you let yourself cry like I did because I have learned how to do this? Or do you do what I used to do? I used to just be like, why are you crying? What's wrong with you? Stop it. Like I would literally tell myself to just stop it. What was I doing? I was parenting myself like my stepfather. parented me, right? In the way that was very unhealthy and toxic and, it was abusive. And how are you welcoming in your joy, your gratitude? Are you letting those tears well up? A lot of us feel vulnerable in a moment of joy. We feel that, oh my God, like life is, and that's what I was feeling. I was like, life is so short. Life is so precious. I'm going to drop in here. I'm going to really enjoy this. So instead of fearing that it's going to go away, we start to shift our minds and we start to reframe that energy is neither good nor bad. Emotions are neither positive nor negative. They're just energy in motion and they're moving through all day long. And I get to control the narrative in my mind. And if you're just noticing and you're just becoming aware, like, holy shit, I've got a narrative that joy is unsafe, that I shouldn't cry because that's stupid, or I don't want to drop in and really feel my gratitude for this moment or my child or the excitement of this thing because it's just going to get taken away. I want you to know that there is hope, that you can shift out of that pattern that you're in. Transformation is completely possible here. And awareness is the first step. Okay. So your key to expanding your capacity to have and to hold is to first become aware, which is to start catching yourself in a moment. I love to use this phrase. This is from my favorite coach in the whole wide world, Christine Hassler. She always says, use life as school. Use life as school. You will turbocharge and turbo boost your growth, your healing, your development if you commit that you are so worth the time to drop into a moment when you are emotionally overcome. And that could be triggered or glimmered, right? You could be triggered or glimmered in an emotional wave, and it just kind of overcomes you. If you decide to drop in and be present with yourself and start talking to yourself through self-directed third-person talk, I'm telling you, there is nothing more empowering. This is what I'm doing all day long with women. I teach women how to talk to themselves, how to be their own coach, how to be their own encourager, healer, unconditional lover in the moment. So first it's becoming aware. Catch yourself in a glimmer. Catch yourself in a moment of gratitude, in a moment of joy. And then you're going to catch the pattern at play. And it's going to be automatic because these patterns are slippery, but rewiring is possible. Now you're aware. So now you catch yourself. You're like, oh, wait, I'm having a moment of joy. And all I want to do is get back to work. I want to like ignore it and just make it go away. No, wait a minute. Hang on. Let me breathe into my body. Let me put my hand on my heart and let me drop in. Let me feel this fully in my body. Locate it. What does it feel like? What are the sensations? Let the thoughts come in. Let it make you cry. If it wants to overwhelm you, don't be afraid. And then here's where we start changing the story and we start the rewiring process. We connect a new story. So it's, you are safe in this moment. I've got you. It is safe to feel this fully. And you know what? I'm just going to be with it. There's nothing better for me to do in this moment than savor the gift of the gratitude, of the moment of joy, of the moment of peace, of the moment of happiness, of the excitement that is here in this moment. Literally, I'm wishing all day long that I would just feel better. All of us, we just want to feel better. That's all we want. We're like, I just want to feel better. I just want to be happy. How many of us are saying that? I just want to be happy. I just want my kids to be happy. We want everyone to be happy. And then when happiness comes in, we're like, nope, it's not safe to feel you. Nope, you're just going to get taken away. Hand on heart, deep breath in. I've got you. I feel you. Talk to it, right? It is a part of you. It is not you. It is this emotion. It is this gift. Think of it as a gift. It is a gift. Thank you, God. If you are spiritual, if you are connected to God, if you are connected to energy, thank the unseen force for this beautiful energy that wants to come in and let it take hold and let it root and give yourself the gift of feeling that emotion. This is a deliberate practice, and it involves you literally becoming aware, using the old pattern as the trigger to stop, pause, and do something different. This is how we transform. We don't just all of a sudden, oh, go from snoozing to stop snoozing. No, it's there's this gap from here to here. And the gap is the alarm's going to go off. I want to snooze. I want to do what I've been doing for 40 years. And I'm going to catch myself in that pattern. I'm going to hear my brain. I'm going to listen to it. And then I'm going to decide in that moment to do something different. And I'm going to talk back to that brain, to that narrative, to that story. No, it's okay. We can get out of bed. Yes, we're tired and we want to get up. We want to start our day. So it's like, here's this joy. And your brain's like, this is unsafe. And then you're like, no, it's safe for me to feel this. And you know what? If there's resistance there, welcome that in too. I can feel just the right amount of gratitude and joy in this moment that I'm willing to feel, that I'm capable, that I'm holding the capacity for, knowing my capacity is growing and expanding each time I practice this. And I know my resistance is even protective, right? Because that's what it's doing. It's protecting you from feeling something unsafe. The resistance has to be welcomed in so that it too can pass through. Whenever we resist something, even when we're resisting resistance, we're holding on to it. So welcome it all in, let it move through your body. You can do this. This will literally change your life. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about, because I have been doing this work personally, and I want to share that a big story that we have is I'm going to get too high and then I'm going to come crashing down, or I'm going to feel this good and it's going to get taken away from me. And we're so afraid of that. We're so afraid of the shift, but just know that it's going to shift. Of course, it's going to move through and something else inevitably is going to come in. This concept of forever and holding on to something forever really has us stuck. It has us stuck and it has us suffering. So when we let it go and we just know that nothing is forever, any emotion that wants to come in is inevitably going to pass and something else is going to move through. This is the way life is. And when you know that, and when you affirm that to yourself, and when you make that okay, you will open the door. Your capacity to hold these positive emotions will catapult and grow and expand like never before. And let me give you an example. I've been working on this all year long. And I just did two really amazing things this year that had me up here on the spectrum of emotions. I went to Peru. That was this out of this world amazing experience. And then I spent a whole month in Myrtle Beach in the summer and kind of cleared my schedule. And these were two like bucket list items. Like they were dreams. Let me tell you, both of them better than I expected. Both of them, I did exactly what I'm telling you today. I found myself almost crying daily in gratitude, and I let it come in and I let myself feel those positive emotions, and it really sunk in and it really made the memory that much better for me. Well, what happened when I got home? We'll just use one of them. We'll use Myrtle Beach as an example, right? Came crashing down. I felt for about 2 weeks not myself. I felt a little out of sorts. I felt a little sad. What was happening there? I was grieving. I was grieving the loss of that experience that I had just had, that experience that was all the way up here. And that exact thing, the grief, the sadness after the high, that's what we're so afraid of feeling and happening, that we're blocking ourselves from the joy. So what did I do? I did the exact same thing I'm telling you here. Hand on heart, deep breath in, let myself cry, let myself be sad, and just said, it's okay that you're sad. Let yourself feel this. Of course you feel sad. You just had like this most amazing experience that you've been wanting to have your whole life, and you made it come true. And what was interesting is when I was doing that, when I was talking to myself, that self-directed self-talk that is so empowering and will change you from the inside out. It was really affirming what I was experiencing in the moment, not making it wrong, and giving it the permission to just move through my body. And then I was experiencing gratitude for the grief. Yes, you heard me. Gratitude for the grief. Because if you can feel your positive emotions to that level, if you could let yourself get naturally, not on drugs, because I used to take a lot of drugs way back in the day. I used to love getting high, like loved it. But I don't do that anymore. Like now it's all about a natural high for me. So if you could let yourself get that high and let yourself really feel those positive emotions and be willing to feel the grief afterwards and be willing to hold yourself through that, I felt gratitude for that. I was like, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, that I am now today the woman that can handle that level of positive emotion like never before. And the doorway to being able to feel that immense level of joy and gratitude in my body started with me having to meet myself where I was at years ago, which was in the rage. So if you are finding yourself stuck in an emotion, okay, and the two emotions, there's really one that I see most people stuck in, especially the women that I coach. The women that I coach are generally stuck in a baseline level of anxiety. And anxiety is less of an emotion and more of a protective layer of a culmination of unexpressed emotions underneath. And if you're really stuck, if you're an anxious person, if you're just generally always anxious, it just means that you are lacking the skills to process all the layers of emotions underneath that. And the one emotion that feels safe is anxiety. So as much as you don't like it and are suffering and want it to go away, it is actually like your bodyguard. It is protecting you from feeling everything that's underneath there. Years ago, I was stuck in anger. Anger is another emotion. It's more masculine. Men tend to get stuck there, but women can too. It just looks a little different in men and women. But if we are stuck in an emotion, that is a protective emotion that your system feels safe in. So believe it or not, your system feels safe in anxiety. I felt safe in anger. You may identify with this and realize, oh, anger is the emotion I actually feel safe with because it's the emotion I feel all the time. Maybe it's sadness. I have clients that really are very connected to sadness, right? And these are my clients that have a diagnosis of depression and maybe are on medicine and they tend to feel sadness, and that is a safe emotion. So if you're stuck in an emotion, it's just a protective layer, and all it takes is for you to start turning toward it with love and compassion, thanking it for its protection, and giving it permission to let go. And the message it needs to hear, the message it needs to know is that I am safe to feel. That's it. I am safe to feel. I am safe to feel my sadness, my grief, my joy, my happiness, my gratitude. I'm not going to get a big head. I'm not going to have the rug pulled out from underneath me, right? And when we really, really dive deep in a coaching session and we get into those fears and we're like, well, what's the worst that can happen? What if it does get taken away? Is any harm done by feeling good in your body and feeling hopeful and expecting a best case outcome? I think it's way more fun to move through life believing in the best thing to possibly happen than worrying and protecting yourself from a worst case scenario that you honestly have no idea what's going to pan out when you set your sights on goals and start moving forward. So start dropping in, start being present to what's here, and start getting the message to your system that you are safe to feel joy, gratitude, peace, happiness, and use those glimmery moments, those moments when those emotions are naturally coming in, and just savor them. This will change you from the inside out, I promise. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed this. And just to close out, feeling better now isn't about someday, isn't about having something else, isn't about when I, then I. No, you can start feeling better now. I promise you, these emotions are there. They're making their way in all day long, all week long. You're just blocked. You're unsafe. You're repelling them away. And all you need to do is welcome them in. And feeling better now is about letting yourself enjoy the moment when it arises, because joy already lives inside of you. And it's just a matter of unlocking its power and being willing to feel it. Okay, well, that's it. If you really like this, I want to welcome you to join in on the live conversations here weekly, as well as watch the replays on my YouTube page. And I want to offer anyone who's really interested in this, anyone that this is really speaking to, a free clarity call with me where we can get clear as to where you are, where you want to be, what's blocking you, and how to navigate and get from here to there. I promise you that you can feel better now. You just need to be willing to feel safe in those positive emotions. Bye, everybody.